We continue our videos about the leaders of the Fethullahist Terrorist Organization. Today I'm going to tell you about a person who is in the red category of the Ministry of Interior's wanted terrorist list, Ahmet Kara. There is not much news about Ahmet Kara. What role did Ahmet Kara play in the Fethullahist Terrorist Organization? For what crimes is he among the most dangerous terrorists? After this video, there will be no question marks in your minds. We will tell you all the answers to these questions. A meeting takes place in a room specially prepared for Fethullah Gulen on the upper floor of Yamana College. In this meeting, there is a teacher, a high school student, and Fethullah Gulen. Fethullah Gulen accepts the high school student, asks him his name, and gives him a code name. The code name was Osama. This boy assumed very senior positions in the Fethullahist Terrorist Organization. These were critical positions such as the Imam of Kuleli Military High School and the 2nd Army Command. He was also the Imam of lawyers, and when he was captured after the July 15 coup attempt, he was announced as the highest ranking officer ever captured in the Fethullahist Terrorist Organization. And this person is Reshat Nazmi Oral. In his testimony in court, Reshat Nazmi Oral explained that he had met Fethullah Gulen, whom Ahmet Kara introduced as his uncle, and that he had been serving the terrorist organization since then. Ahmet Kara was a high school teacher, is in charge of selecting the people who will take on the most critical tasks of the terrorist organization. Then his position in the organization rises, and is part of the appointment committee. Let us also add that the FETO ringleader was wanted. According to the archives, Ahmet Kara never parted with the FETO ringleader, whom he described as his uncle after 1983. In 1986, the so-called 6-year fugitive status of the FETO ringleader came to an end. The FETO ringleader and his 13-member delegation were captured in 3 cars in Isparta border. The FETO ringleader and 13 people were first interrogated and then released with the intervention of politicians and some military officials of the period. One of these people is Ahmet Kara. In his testimony in 1986, Ahmet Kara said that he did not know Fethullah Gulen, that he had been in that car, but that someone else knew the person in question. And there is no investigation. Toygun Atillah's special report from Hurriyet newspaper about this incident in the year 1986. It is interesting in terms of showing how FETO works, because all the people captured with Fethullah Gulen, he later assumed critical roles within the organization. One of them is Ahmet Kara, one is Barbaros Koçakurt, one is Mustafa Bashar, the Imam of Israel is Harun Tokak, and these names were released in 1986 without being subjected to any investigation. They then continued their duties within the organization. In 1983, Ahmet Kara continued to be protected by Fethullah Gulen and rose in the organization because he presented Reshat Nazmi, Oral, and other names to the FETO ringleader.
Having gained the appreciation of the FETO ringleader, Ahmet Kara rose rapidly in the organization. He became Azur of regional elder brother and later Istanbul Imam. The Istanbul Imamate gave Ahmet Kara an opportunity that he had been looking for but could not find. Ahmet Kara quickly became rich as the members of the judiciary in Istanbul started to seize the assets of businessmen, and he was considered one of the most dangerous figures in the organization at that time. Because if Ahmet Kara asked for patronage from a businessman, that businessman did not give that money. After a short period of time, he would be able to contact either the judiciary or other institutions in the public sector.
He has to deal with businessmen who know this fulfill Ahmet Kara's wishes. When Ahmet Kara was the Imam of Istanbul, he also carried out the special affairs of the FETO ringleader. Among them was the meeting that secured the FETO ringleader's visa in the United States and enabled him to escape from Turkey before he did. Ahmet Kara also met with Bülent Ecevit, and Bülent Ecevit, the prime minister of the time, said that it would be good for Fethullah Gulen to be abroad for a while, because at that time the famous tape of Fethullah Gulen had been released and Turkey was confronted for the first time with the reality of how dangerous the Fethullahists were.
Until the point and the moment when they would come to their senses. This is our voice, our breath. In the midst of all this crowd, I have expressed this feeling and thought in a so-called private manner. But you are loyal to privacy. I've told this to appeal to your delicate sense of privacy. I know that when you go out with your empty juice boxes, you will throw these thoughts in the garbage bin, just as you throw them in a garbage bin, with the openness aspect.
Fethullah Gulen, who fled abroad at the urging of Bülent Ecevit, received a green card from the United States thanks to Ahmet Kara's intervention and proved why he is an indispensable name for the FETO ringleader. Fethullah Gulen has always returned Bülent Ecevit, the man who caused him to leave Turkey, with blessings. He even showed his loyalty to Bülent Ecevit enough to say that if I had the right to intercede for one person, I would use it in favor of Bülent Ecevit. During his Istanbul imamate, Ahmet Kara also pioneered the establishment of Kaynak Holding, one of FETO's flagships. Nachitos, who was arrested together with Fethullah Gulen, is in charge of Kaynak Holding. During his Istanbul imamate, Ahmet Kara, who followed the orders of the FETO ringleader to the letter, was appointed as the Imam of the judiciary. Ahmet Kara's position as the Imam of the judiciary coincided with the period when FETO prosecutors in Turkey were blowing like the wind. With the Ergenekon and sledgehammer investigations, FETO prosecutors had the power to imprison anyone they wanted. At that time, Ahmet Kara met several times with Fikret Seçen, who was known as the prosecutor in the sledgehammer case and shared a room in Beşiktaş with Zekaria Öz. These meetings took place over Fikret Seçen's wife's phone, and Ahmet Kara conveyed his instructions to Fikret Seçen about the sledgehammer case in particular, as well as the critical cases that Fikret Seçen was handling, including the theft case. Fikret Seçen, in turn, fulfills these instructions and serves the aims of the terrorist organization. It would be incomplete if we did not mention the Kenyan adventures of Ahmet Kara, who is in the red category in this video, in which we explain the tasks he undertook within the Fethullahist Terrorist Organization. Ahmet Kara took on the role of the organization's imam in Kenya on orders from the head of FETO, and this history is quite interesting. It coincides with the date when Obama was the first candidate in the US presidential elections. Ahmet Kara, on orders from FETO, found poor people from Obama's family in Kenya and educated their children, which attracted Obama's attention. Ahmet Kara was one of the names invited to Obama's presidential swearing-in ceremony. Ahmet Kara was the most important person who put the Obama administration in contact with FETO. Later on, we know that FETO members showed up at Obama's invitations. Faruk Taban is one of them, Enes Kanter is another.
That's enough. Give this to our thing. Who? Enes Candle. Anyway, we gave his name, we exposed him, they'll open a new case against him.
Members of the organization are constantly establishing good relations with the Obama administration, and the foundation of this was laid during Ahmet Kara's tenure as Imam in Kenya. This information was included in the roof indictment of the Fethullah Gangs organization and was accepted by the fugitive FETO members. One of them is Veysel Ayhan. In an article written by Veysel Ayhan, he said that it was ridiculous to consider Ahmet Kara's activities in Kenya as a crime, that this was just an educational service, and in a sense, he admitted that Ahmet Kara was one of the key figures who established the connection between the Obama administration and FETO.
Ahmet Kara is a person who has always played a critical role in the terrorist organization. But as FETO members always do, they have a tactic to separate his crimes from his involvement with FETO. According to this allegation, Ahmet Kara is Mustafa Özkan's man and carries out the orders he receives from Mustafa Özkan. However, after the July 15 coup attempt, it was revealed that from the time Ahmet Kara fled abroad, which corresponds to 2014, he took active roles in FETO's organization in Europe and transferred the patronage money he received from the organization's businessmen to banks in Germany. This reveals that Fethullah Gulen has not given up on Ahmet Kara and that he is not, as has been said, a member of another group within the organization, but an executive who takes orders from the FETO handler himself. We will continue our videos on the Fethullahist Terrorist Organization and its leaders. To support us, don't forget to like our video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications for new videos. Thank you.